Thank you for tuning into the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Arael Marrocco. Peter is the director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Advanced or Alien Contact Intelligence Organization. Jessica is a galactic liaison and interdimensional seer. Together, they will discuss the most current updates from the ACIO, Council of Five, and other extraterrestrial sources. Make sure to post your questions and comments below. Disclosures, insider intel that keeps you updated with planetary changes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today here at Disclosures. And we have Peter the Insider with us to give us the most recent update of what has been going on the planet. And I'm looking forward to hearing some news because we haven't heard from Peter in a while. And obviously, when it's quiet, sometimes that means that there's activity happening. So we're ready to hear whatever Peter has to say today and update us with the current state of the world right now. Hello, Peter.
So I want to say, or let's say, thank to you, or say hello to you, and to all of our regular and maybe not so regular listeners. So what was going on? Because for me, because of that, I was in not only me, but our unit, not just, by the way, not unit 374, another unit 374 from time to time was here and there. But what is the problem? We were in such a crazy numerous amounts of realities, timelines, whatsoever, context of existence, universum, universe, megaverse, and whatsoever, because that I wasn't able. Oh, sorry, I need to finish my first thought. That I wasn't even able to figure how long it was, which kind of time frame it was in this reality. And I was like, oh my god, it was more than 5, almost 6 weeks, so more than 1 month. And what happened, or is about to happen, or call it as you like, is the problem that RSC, we can go to Rainstorm Company, is about to attack the world with next generation of biochemical warfare, and we don't know what is this. Let's say we don't know the origin of that, and what we know only for sure that once it attacks, or let's say infected any sort of living organism, but mostly people and animals, it will turn them. It is pretty much, let's say, some sort of Resident Evil case scenario whatsoever. So they mutated, fine. But what is the problem? It looks like a gel. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the heck is going on? Like if you make butchery, and from pigs and whatsoever, and this is this gel. I mean, the meat in the gel, it looks tasty. My bad. It smells tasty and whatsoever. But the stuff is like, nah, it is not a problem. I can just touch it and whatsoever. It is harmless. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem. You will activate it. Because the final stage, the final stage of mutation, it's like, it's nothing. It's pretty much like gel, like some sort of, let's say, groceries. you need to chew, or you can chew and whatsoever, not a big deal. But just because something looks harmless, it doesn't mean it is harmless, believe me. And then it activates the whole hive of those entities, if we want to call them that way. And oh my god, some of them are marching. No, they are not marching. Some of them are marching or will march. Another of them will run towards you. Another of them will fly, or they will, how can I say it, drill. Drill down under. Do you know what I mean? And they will surround you and try to guess what will happen. They will eat you alive.
All right, so that we're talking about some type of cannibals or predators.
Give me a second. Cannibals or carnivores. Carne, it's in Latin, meat. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because they will kill and eat everything what is alive, and what has some sort of meat and bone and whatsoever, protein structure whatsoever, and you cannot feed them. Feed, I mean, like they all the time need to be fed. But it looks like, what the heck? This is nothing. It's just, nah, it is not alive or whatsoever. Believe me, this, it's absolutely crazy.
You said this is related to like Resident Evil and the zombies?
Yes, because as I said, but this is actually more sophisticated, because zombies, let's say, at least they looks that, let's say, they are moving, they are slow and whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? But this is not like that. Yeah, okay. So this is it. They are some sort of gel-ish structure and whatsoever, and you will just touch it because you don't believe it, that it will or it can harm you. And this is the first case, because you are curious. But sometimes you will do it, let's say, unwillingly, and you will trigger the whole process. And believe me, this process is absolutely crazy. What we saw in not one or two, in numerous realities, the scenarios, my bad, sorry, were pretty much, I don't want to say the same, but like 70-80% very, very similar. And I was like, this is next level crap. Jesus. So as I said, some of them were marching slow, another of them were running fast, another of them were flying, and another of them were drilling. Do you know what I mean? Underground, and they will surround you very fast, and like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like,
we mentioned before that the Umbrella Corporation, one of the aspects of the company is also Rainstorm Company.
Yeah.
And
yes.
That's why we're originally looking at Rainstorm Company. And so these zombies, this is playing out where, Peter? Is this in our timeline or somewhere else? Or?
And that's the problem. This is not happening in our timeline, and this is it. This is very important word, yet. But once we will not doing our best, I mean, our effort will be not the best, it can happen just like that. And I personally was, let's say, off scene. Do you know what I mean? You didn't heard about me for almost 1.5 months or so. Because of this, we were, I don't want to say flying, but we were moving from reality to reality, timeline to timeline, and you know, mega universe, megaverse, and dimensions whatsoever. It was absolutely crazy.
So when you do that, Peter, you're doing this to kind of get an assessment of what's going on in our timeline. So you're kind of observing and seeing what's happening in all of these different realities because
Yes,
they impact us.
yes, because there is bleed truth. Let's say, okay, there is one very important stuff, and it is fact. It's solid fact, right? It's assumption that odd realities, or let's call it array of densities, third, fifth array densities whatsoever, it is, or let's say they are good, or let's say fine case scenarios, good case scenarios. And once we are talking about even, so second, 2-dimension, fourth dimension, or 2, 4th, 6th array density, they are bad. And what is happening right now, we've got several severe bleed truths from 4th array density, or let's say 4D. And that's the problem. Because Monarch and Mobius, they merge together in order to make one end of the crazy complicated wormhole stable. They succeed, and they are moving and transporting very complicated and complex pieces of technology and energetic resources, you know, from 4th array density, or 4D, let's say, to here. Not only like 3D or 3rd array density, but especially special to our reality. And that's the problem. Not reality, my bad. Our context of existence, that's it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not gonna end well. And it is not. Because this is not like, we know, like, war is in Ukraine, Russia attacks Ukraine. No. I mean, give me a second. Yes, of course, Russia attacked, my bad, Ukraine. But there are too many wars all over the place. I mean, my bad, all over the globe, all over, you know, the planet. I don't know how many, let's say, dozens of civil wars and intra-states wars are in Africa, for example.
Yeah.
Middle East, it's absolutely crazy. It's you know, Syria, it's Iraq. Officially, it's not. I mean, Iraq, it's not for like 12 years or something like that. Believe me, it is not the case. It's Yemen. I mean, Yemen, you know, I don't know how many wars are in Asia, South America, whatsoever. So I am not saying that people in Ukraine are not suffering. They are, but I'm just saying it's, you know what I'm trying to say. It's only one of I don't know how many wars. I'm just saying, you know.
Right. Yeah, because we get focused on the one war. That's all the mainstream media talks about. But then you hear, you know, in the background, there's multiple conflicts, revolutions, or protests.
Yeah.
And also, there was a big, lots of problems in Haiti. You know, some different nations around us that
Yeah.
are struggling right now, and you barely hear anything about them.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. And that's the problem that they want. My bad. So Umbrella, in cooperation with Rainstorm Company, developed next generation. It's like pretty much quotes in quotes cyberpunk generation of biochemical warfare. So it's like absolutely crazy what they developed. And Shadow Group is here, or let's say they will spread, or should spread, call it as you like, this kind of stuff all over the globe. They will, quotes in quotes, spray us like chemtrails whatsoever.
The Shadow Group is doing that?
Give me a second. They will spray us, quotes in quotes, in chemtrails, but they don't have anything in common with developing it. No.
This is what you're seeing in the other reality. So you look.
No, give me a second. They want to do it right here, right now. It is just matter of what? Like in the edge, like end of June, start of July or something like that, or first half of July. And I was like, what in the world is that crap about? Oh my God.
If you're saying that it's already started over in these other realities,
exactly. Yeah.
So, and have you been able to? Are you able to stop anything? Or are you able to just observe it and see what's happening?
And that's the problem. We were desperately doing it. I mean, like altering timelines and whatsoever. And I don't know, because it's like you do something, and once you break the flow of certain events, what was natural, the stuff is that it will all the time create some sort of unnatural events, unnatural chain of problems and distortions and whatsoever. So let's say the stakes are really high right now. Oh my God.
Why is it that we're having?
Let's say loud. Let's speed it out loud. We are pretty much playing Russian roulette right now, and that's the problem.
Why is it that we can't find the Shadow Group? How were they so buried?
Because they are away. Okay, they are in I don't know which kind of context of existence. Why we don't know. And just because for us, because of that, and for them, thanks to for that they was able, not Shadow Group only, but Mobius, Monarch, and whatsoever, they were able not create, because it will be way too luxurious for them, but they were to create, but they were able to find very big and stable wormhole in first place, and they were able to stabilize certain ways, let's call them tentacles, of this wormhole. They have pretty much free and solid access, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem, because they know the routes, but they are using OTP, what is one-time, I don't want to say one-time password, but it's pretty much like, for example, if you have two-step verification to any sort of portal and whatsoever, there is how can I say it? string of, I don't know, like numbers, or maybe alphanumerical, let's say numbers and letters, and it will go it will go to your cell phone. It will, I don't know, like via text message or whatsoever. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Or via Viber or WhatsApp or something like that. And that's it. They know the exact frequencies. They know one time whatsoever access stuff, but we don't.
Yeah, they can plug it in and
Yeah,
they're there.
exactly.
Do
They
the
can plug it
damage
in
and
and
then
out, in
exit.
and out, in and out, in and out. But I will say you why. Because they are calling it universal multi enigma, and that's the stuff. Enigma, you know, they are using enigma like ciphering and deciphering. It is goddamn complicated. And just by the way, they are ascendants, I don't know, like grand, I don't know which kind of grandchild of those people. They designed Enigma for Germans in I mean Nazi Germans in Second World War. So this is it. I'm just saying. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
That's it right here, right?
Yep. I'm just saying.
And they actually had a show on this. They did a movie where they about the guy that invented it, I believe, or was working with it to try to decode something. Was it during World War II?
Yeah.
I don't know if this was, maybe this is it.
So
sure.
I'm just saying, do you know what I'm trying to say? It is absolutely crazy. Oh my god.
This is the guy that created it, right? Alan Turing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's a very sophisticated machine, and what they have, like, this larger scale of it, and then they made it smaller. And you're very hard to break or decode.
Yeah.
So
this is it. So this is it. What I'm saying. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But definitely not that kind of, let's say, primitive, because they are using AI, so artificial intelligence, and that brings, quotes in quotes, Enigma to a whole another next level. This is
a quantum. It brings it
quantum
to a quantum
level.
right?
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Quantum level.
Yeah. So, and yeah, that's a problem. So now, yesterday you were telling me that they were planning on the Rainstorm Company Corporation was planning on creating similar to what the Shadow Group does, is to have some kind of event occur in Russia somewhere, and then also in Poland.
Not somewhere. They want to spray all over, let's say, high density. How can I say it? High density city populated cities, and they want to spray those chemtrails. And actually, elites are already evacuated. This is not original, of course. This is original Soviets, but they've got few of them in Russia, just by the way, because those are original ones, but they made much
more advanced one,
more advanced, more modern, and whatsoever. But this is it. The Western elites are evacuated too, because this is absolutely crazy. They believe, both of them believe, that they will attack each other. Like East believe that attack them, and West believe that East will attack them, and whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? But they don't want to how we can say it, investigate one fact, that maybe there is another, let's call it superpower, not as a country, as a state, but organization, or let's say not organization, not only, let's say, corporation, but conglomerate of corporations. Conglomerate, I mean like plenty of corporations, they are working together, and they want to create distraction, distortion, do you know what I mean, and whatsoever. This is it, quotes in quotes, divide et impera. That means from Latin, how can I say it? Just makes some sort of argument and whatsoever because of the things, some things. You know that you can count with, that it will create argument, and then you will conquer them. Whoever, do you know what I'm trying to say? So that's it. And
so we have this.
we were, I mean, in ACIO trying to stop this. So sorry, you want to say something?
Yeah, you said that they were going to try to create arguments, and so here is anger pushback as Russia's Lavrov chairs UN Security Council meeting, and there are fireworks on Thursday. United Nations Security Council, a meeting chaired by Russia's Foreign Ministry Sergei Lavrov. Already tensions are high as the UNSC due to Russia's chairing the council for the month of April based on a scheduled monthly rotation. Lavrov told the council that the world has become a more dangerous place, possibly more so than at the height of the Cold War. As was case in Cold War, we have reached the dangerous, possibly even more dangerous threshold, he said. And so everything was in a big uproar. But look at this. The meeting which Lavrov chaired was titled The Maintenance of International Peace and Security, but came under the criticism by those countries opposed to Kremlin's war on Ukraine. Western diplomats had complained upon Russia's April 1st takeover of the lead seat at the UNSC that it must be an April Fool's joke. And Thursday's address, Lavrov accused the U.S. and its allies of abandoning diplomacy and demanding clarification of the relations on the battlefield. So you could see this is literally playing out at the UN.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, what you're saying, Peter, this is verifying the tension that we're feeling right now, and also his reference to the Cold War.
Give me a second. Those are tensions, let's say, how can I say it, non-lethal tensions, or let's call it tensions, non-war tensions. But try to think what is or what could possibly be the next stage, next step, or I don't know how can I, or can we call it. And that's the problem. We don't want next step or next stage, at least people, they are sane. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's oh my God.
No, but this happened April 24th. What you're telling us is, I mean, this is current information, and it took place on the 1st of April. So as you can see, we'll share this article, of course, and there's probably many articles showing the confusion and people wondering what in the world is going on. And also it creates that tension where people feel like we need to defend and protect our area, our nation.
Yeah, give me a second. I am not saying that this is not serious. Definitely not. But what I said, and I am insisting on that. I need to insist that there are dozens of wars all around the world, and mainstream media are focusing only towards war in Ukraine. It's ridiculous for me,
Right. But
just by the way, it's not quotes in quotes war like total war, I'm just saying, you know, because it's less than 20% of area. I mean, do you know what I'm trying to say? Less than 20% of, how can I say it?
The population?
No, less than 20% of area. It's what we are talking about, like 600,000 of kilometers, square kilometers, and less than 20% is only, I mean, less than 20% of area on this kind of 20% is going on the war. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's it.
Right. And, you know, they've rallied the entire Western world to engage in what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. And they've rallied everybody, you know, the whole Western world to get involved in this. Meanwhile, there's huge unrest happening in France. There's fires everywhere and just
right.
craziness. It's like a civil war is happening, or a revolutionary war.
Oh, give me a second. I am not saying it is about to happen or what so. It already happened, or let's say it is happening. Believe me, it is.
Peter, can you share with us anything else that you've seen besides, not that this isn't huge, because the biochemical warfare that you observed when you were in these other realities, and that's bad enough because you said you saw that the elite had deep plans to evacuate and go into these locations that would preserve them. Because
but give me a second, it doesn't make sense, because yes, they've got, let's say, how can I say that? They've got reserves. I mean, like, they've got food and whatsoever, fine. But try to think what will happen once they will run out of supplies. Do you know what I'm trying to say? How in the heck in the world they will? Do you know what I'm trying to say? They will go out, and what will happen? There will be no, how can I say, no quotes in quotes standard civilization. Do you know what I mean?
Right, because everything will be contaminated, and yeah, the problems,
contaminated, poisoned, whatsoever. They will be almost no normal people. I mean, normal, aka zombies, infected. Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything else that, I mean, is there any ray of hope or something that can be done?
Yes, we are trying to get certain way of their reactor, because they are using crazy complicated reactor. Fusing reactor. It is making atomic fusion, right? And if we can get certain energy to our stuff, because we are doing certain things, right, from here to there, you know, and if we can make it less powerful, down below certain critical, let's say certain critical level, they will be not able to maintain their routes. Do you know what I mean? Like from those and other realities, timelines, whatsoever, call it as you like. So this is our hope. And if we will, quotes in quotes, catch the train soon enough, or let's call it fast enough, I don't know, then they will be not able to get their pieces of technology and whatsoever to our reality, or let's say our timeline, or context of existence, call it as you like, because this is their main weakness, right? Their main weakness, that this not only building, but starting and maintaining in certain, let's say, quote unquote, ideal condition of this reactor, it's very, very, very complicated. And let's say money time costing and time consuming and money demanding. It's very, very bad for them. And if we will be able to get to their usual pattern of usual behavior, because they are doing certain stuff according let's say easy, predictable enough. So I mean easy, predictable enough, how can I say it, you know, they've got supplies and whatsoever. If they will run out of supplies, or if they have low amount of supplies whatsoever, they are not, you know, how we can say it correctly, they are not patient, they are doing things fast. Do you know what I'm saying? And they are not cautious. They are doing, let's say, even for example, if I will live in certain street, and if I will be at home, if I will be retired, do you know what I mean? And if I will make photos or something like that of cars and whatsoever, or maybe if I will write, I don't know, like, yes, this is this type of car with certain color, certain, what is it, license ID and license plate, they are doing mistakes. Do you know what I'm trying to say? They are careless in some sort of.
Yeah. So that works to our advantage, that they're.
Yes, exactly. They are. Their patterns, way of behaviors are. You can read them pretty easy. This is for our advantage, because let's say this. How can I say it? Supplying this reactor is that kind of complicated that they don't have time to think through very complicated and deep, always new routes, new cars, new whatsoever. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
This is fuse reactor. I'm talking about it. Do you know what I mean?
There's a plasma fusion.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So recently, well, I won't say recently, probably about 6 months ago or so, I think there was an incident in Australia where they just lost a piece of of a bomb, but they didn't really loot. It was, well, we'll say that someone helped us, maybe.
Yeah.
Without getting too, yeah, we don't want to, share everything that we know. But anyhow, this is out of MIT, by the way, from MIT, futuristic reactor at the MIT technology, fusing atoms, making loud and eerie sound. They have some amazing technology. It's funny, I was looking at people talking about, they haven't developed time travel yet. And I'm like, are they in the dark ages? Are they really that ignorant? I mean, look at the technology that we have. It would be ridiculous to consider that it doesn't exist. The type of things that they're able to do right now, that they're even showing us, they're not hiding it.
You are right. You are right.
because it's also plasma, right? Plasma fusion. Um, so the topics that we're discussing, I mean, yes, it's futuristic to many people, but not really, because what is it, like 50 years or 40 years of hidden
50, give me a
knowledge.
second, 50, almost 60 years old or something like that.
Of hidden knowledge so like we only hear what was going on from the 1940s and 50s.
Or 60s, maybe something like that. 60s.
Yeah. But the real top secret information is not being disclosed. So yes, we are light years ahead of what people are aware of. And so, people listen to us have these discussions and they say, oh, yeah, this is kind of, futuristic, it's fantasy or whatever. No, it's actual science, and it's basic. This is basic knowledge. It's not even advanced knowledge, knowing that the governments hide the information for, a certain length of time. And even just the same way that they don't disclose certain records for a period of time. I mean, people in the military understand this.
Mostly 50 years. 50 years. As you said, exactly as you said. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I think that I mentioned it. That once I was for first time in that kind of high level, top class, and it wasn't ACIO just, by the way. It was quotes in quotes regular military. Of course, it wasn't regular, but it was top class, as you said, top class military base, but it wasn't ACIO, okay? And give me a second. Basic time frame. 1990 year 1990, and they've got tablet-ish look like devices, and it was nothing new for them. They said that they've got it for, I can't remember exact time frame, like 7-8 years. So let's say first half of 80s, and try to guess which kind of time frame we are talking about once tablets are or let's say were launched to the public. And the smartphones, I mean, give me a second, not like this kind of hybrid issue whatsoever, but what I know, because first, let's say usable, some sort of at least normal, was like, call it as you like or think as you like or what you like, but it was iPhone. I mean, first, of course, it was 2007, and I've got it like 1992, 1993. I mean, not myself, but that was my first encounter with that kind of cell phone. And I don't want to fool you guys. It was like 1992, 1993, yeah. And we wasn't. I mean, I was young. My bad. So I wasn't that kind of higher rank enough that it. Okay. This is for you, and this brand new. So it was already, like, quotes in quotes, in the market. So it was like what? 87, 2007, 20 or 22, 23 years old once it came to the public. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
and people think that no, right here, right now, we've got crazy stuff, crazy technology, believe me.
So I have a question for you, and this is a very important question that people that challenge the whole time travel issue. When you see people using cell phones or technology, say in the early 1900s, when they didn't have any towers, they didn't have any ways of communication, they say, well, how could they be using it? There were no towers, so none of this makes any sense. Or
it makes sense. It makes sense.
How are they communicating?
Sorry, what?
So explain how they're communicating if there were no towers at that time.
Give me a second. They were towers with transmitters, but the stuff is people. How can I say it? It's like since you've got first transmitters for tube radios or whatsoever, it was the oldest technology or whatsoever. Those kind of transmitters can transmit any sort of signal. Any sort of signal. And just by the way, they started to test radio transmission.
Marconi? The Marconi.
Yeah, Marconi-ish stuff. But even in a very, very late 19th century. So I am not, and give me a second, considering, this is important, considering if we are talking about 20 years and back, so let's say basic way of time traveling, I am not surprised. I am not surprised, no, I'm not. I'm not. Because, for example, so many people believe that no, it doesn't make any sense. Transmitters can't, I mean, analog transmitters, or let's say transmitters for analog signal cannot transmit digital signals. No, it doesn't make it. It's not the problem. There is only one thing: modulation, signal modulation. And if they change it, it is not that big deal. Like DAB, my bad, DAB, digital audio broadcast. So it's pretty much like that what we are talking about, right? It's like FM, what is now FM in DAB version will be CD quality sound, and medium wave, or for people in North America it's BC, like broadcast band, it will be FM sound quality, something like that. So it will change up 1 or maybe 2, 3 levels up. Just by the way, do you know what I'm trying to say? So it is not that complicated as so many people believe, or let's say so many people think, or so. Nah, it is not that complicated. No, it's not that.
Yeah, and they also had sort of a Tesla technology. They had those like what they call the mud flood technology. Those spires and
yeah,
you know,
yeah. You are right.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what? Tesla technology can be not one, but series for show, not one show. Series of shows. Oh my God.
I know. That would be a fantastic coverage. And I just want to show people, because we have this new article that Peter has updated us and shared information regarding 20 and back. And so it's available on the site, the ACIO official.org. And go ahead and read it. I mean, it's quite interesting. We spent some time making sure we covered as many questions as possible regarding how this operates and some of the history behind it. Peter, there's something else? I don't know if you're finished on this specific topic, but I wanted to bring in something because it relates to it, in my opinion. Can I?
No, go ahead. Just say it. Say it. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, before we do that, I just want to, because you brought this up too. This was the attack of the dead man.
Yeah.
It was Sabaton.
Yeah.
So that brings in some of the imagery of some of the things that you were seeing. Is that correct?
This is exactly what I was saying. My bad. What I saw.
Yeah. So
yes, this is exactly what I saw. Exactly. Of course, not First World War, but the same scenes, like, do you know what I mean? Like the gas, poison gas, and whatsoever. It was absolutely crazy, jeez.
Yeah. So and Sabaton seems to be ahead of themselves. They seem to be advanced and aware of what's going on.
Yeah,
You've referred to them multiple times.
because they know what they are talking about, or let's say singing about. Yeah.
Okay, so the next topic, I wanted to bring up this guy, Paul Amadeus Adinok. And the reason why I'm bringing him up is because he wrote this journal, had this incident where I believe it was in 1921 or 22, where he goes into a coma because of an illness that was spread. It was almost some kind of viral thing related to encephalitis. And he goes into a coma for about a year and travels in time and goes all the way to 3906, the year 3906, and then steps into this body of another man who goes by the name of Andrew Northman, or Andreas Northman, and he then starts to go backtrack of everything that happened. What I found was interesting is it's almost identical to some of the things that we've been going through or what they plan. They have like a reset, they call it a restart, and that's supposed to happen in 2396, although we seem to be going through that. They have a Mars colony that takes place in 2309. They have, some kind of change of humanity later on in time called Homo accidentalis, and that's supposed to be in the year 3382, where there's a conversion where people don't feel like they need to be competitive or be in wars, and sort of like an evolution of some sort. And but they have like all of these different agendas, like a virus where people die, and there's also an apocalyptic event that happens in his recall in his journals, which were supposed to be private journals. And nobody wanted to publish it, but a bunch of Masons got a hold of it.
Yeah.
And especially the Masonic Lodge got a hold of it in Greece, and they only printed enough for their people to know what was going to happen. But we know the elite is planning many of these things out. And I was just curious that is this where some of the information they got, and how that they're planning these things? Is it related to that?
Yes, of course, but he was, or let's say he went to coma on purpose. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
He doesn't say that. He doesn't tell people that, but he actually, so he's an asset?
Give me a second. It happened on purpose because he didn't knew. Absolutely. He had no clue, but he was heavily experimented, let's say, milapped on him. And the corporation got him in coma, and he flew years, do you know what I mean, to the future, to the past, and whatsoever. I mean, from their point of view, because once he will be awake, he will be dead. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because he gathered, or let's say he was supposed to be gathered information, very specific information. But there was just a little bit small problem. He shouldn't know which kind of type of let's say, information. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That's it. Bam, we have it.
There's the war scene, Peter, right? that you were just talking about?
I was talking about that.
Yeah, and you see him, just writing everything down and yeah, they go through viruses, they go through transitions. They have this huge Mars colony that ends up collapsing. I thought, I
Yeah.
mean, this is really like a covers a lot of information, only it's more spread out. So he's talking like this is going to happen in hundreds of years or a thousand years, whereas we're seeing all of these things compressed and sort of happening to us in a very short period of time. So
give me a second, because as I said, we quotes in quotes turned off old reality, and we are freeing out from old matrix, or let's say context of existence, and it happened. We need to repeat and repeat it constantly. What 26th April 2020. Just by the way, we need to repeat it like all the time. I'm just saying,
it's are we looping until we get it right? That sort of thing.
And that's the problem, because sometimes, or let's say, I believe that there will be either half step, so 10 years, or one step, 20 years, and maybe we will looping till we will not reach or get the best aim possible. That means aim, or goal. That means like best new reality possible. But then it will be the problem that we will not be looping time. That I'm talking like either 2022, what already happened, and we are going to, or let's say we are in year 2023, so it will be one full step. So not 2012, but 2032. But we will be not looping and looping and looping. No, not this kind of way. But we will move and move and move to the future. And we don't know what kind of outcome we will get. And that's the problem. For me, let's say for me. Oh my God.
Can I ask what corporation actually MyLabbed him?
Try to think.
It's a Monarch?
Of course, Monarch, yep.
Boy, they just use people, don't they? Because he had a very difficult life. It sounds like when he woke up, his mother had died, and then he didn't live much longer. He went to be a professor and then transferred all his content to this Greek gentleman. It had a difficult name. Hold on a second if I could find it. But well, okay. Anyhow, people can look up. It's his information. The book is on sale. It's available to read. But yeah, there's another thing too, that people claim that he didn't exist, and so there's a picture here, this picture right here, that they say is him usually when they talk about him. Yeah. But there are other pictures that show that his name is Daniel Lohil or Tohil.
Give me a second, please. Give me a second. Let me correct you. They are using wide various of names. It's normal. It's absolutely normal for me.
But is this normal. What he looked like? Is this what?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Did he then also live in New Zealand as well during this time period, and he was charged with theft? So sometimes they use prisoners for these experiments, right? And then reinsert them and do things.
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah. So all right. So that's crazy how, some people can be used. You see this over and over again, how they go into prisons, find certain people and use them for different agendas, even just like the police and military and so forth. But yeah, and by gathering this information, though, did it help, maybe humanity by him going through this experience?
From my point of view, definitely yes, because we stole their information and it's fine. It works. Yeah.
It helps, and then you also can verify that the accuracy of what he shared with the public.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Did you ever meet him, Peter?
3 times actually.
And
Three times.
Was it like in a military circumstance or just you?
Military. Yep. Yeah. Military stuff.
Were you traveling in time and then saw him there, or?
Yeah, you are right.
Okay. There's one other thing too. They talk about there's this world leader that shows up, a global leader in the future, and his name is Torhild, Torhild. And it made me think of the man from Torrid. Let's see if I can find it. You know what I'm talking about, the man from Torrid, the guy that.
Yeah, you are right.
Here it is, this guy right here, the man from Torrid. So is he the guy that's from this deep future where he
very deep future? Yeah, you are right.
They say that people will work 40 years of their life and then retire, and then at some point they only have to work for 2 years of their life and then retire because there's enough abundance for everyone. That's something that they say, but that year is like 2396. No, it might have been 3906 or at that point, or maybe it's 2396. That was after the restart.
Yeah, you are right.
The RESTAT, the restart. And yeah, no, it's just crazy stuff. Oh, here's another piece of trivia too. The book originally came out. You can see Paul Amadeus Dinock.
And just by the way, give me a second. Amadeus. Do you know?
Like the musician. I know. I thought about that.
Mozart. Yeah. I'm just saying. Amadeus. Yep.
This is really weird. The Valley of the Roses book. It came out. This is the name that we would, if you go to order it right now, it's Chronicles from the Future. But originally it came out being called The Valley of the Roses. And look, it has a swastika on it. But if you click on it,
let's say I am not surprised. Let's say that way. I'm not surprised.
And if you click on it, it doesn't even talk about him. It's like someone else's story. But back over here, it says that it was Amazing Story of Paul Amadeus Dinock. So that was kind of weird. And then here's another weird thing, Peter. They say that in the future, the people that survive after this massive war that takes place are people, the Balkan people and the Scandinavian people.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world is gone or something happened. So how does that happen?
But what do you think, which kind of time frame we are talking about?
Oh, way in the future, supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a bunch of different things that are supposed to happen.
Yeah, because there are plenty of wars just by the way.
Yeah. Besides, this event, but I did think it was kind of interesting. Some of these little pieces of trivia. No, I think that's it for me, unless there's anything else that you wanted to cover.
I think we are fine for today. What do you think, huh?
Yeah, I was just gonna leave it with this. There's these coins that are circulating, and they look like they have a name for them. Hobo coins or something like that. I think
Yeah,
they say people are taking a coin and then hobo nickel, and then
yeah,
they're
yeah, you are right.
but what's really fun about it is that they come in all different, like ET. We could show real quick. And someone asked if they were real. So you can see
And
people are
that's
reading
it.
them.
Some of them are real. Yeah, you are right.
Yeah, I mean, like this one obviously is a fake one, but
Yeah, you
something like
are right. This is obviously fake. Yeah.
yeah, some of them are fake and some of them look like, I don't know whether they're real or not, but I just, like, people were pointing them out to me and saying, well, what's this? Is this real or not? Maybe some of them are. Maybe we can figure out which ones are, which aren't, that are from another reality. And
Yeah.
then, like this one looks unusual.
Exactly. Those are from another realities. Yes.
This one right here.
Yeah.
And they have, like, something like this that looks like that's created here.
Yeah, you are right. Exactly.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, I thought we'd just leave with that. And thank you, Peter, for joining us today. And we'll keep everyone posted about what's going on. And let's create that intention that we get through this situation and sending protection and guidance for those that are actually going out and trying to make changes regarding the battle. So, in searching out and trying to diminish these warheads and whatever else that they're using.
Yes. So I just want to say thank you for giving me another opportunity to be on your channel, and I'm looking forward for next time. Thank you, and bye bye.
So we just finished our conversation with Peter, but I started looking at the news, and here is something that just came up. Just to let you know that if you want to look up Andronetalks, we do have a Twitter account. But here it is. It looks like Iraq moved chemical weapons to the Sudan. As noted above, a widely cited February 1998 U.S. Congressional Task Force report alleged the Iraq transfer CW to Sudan and Yemen during the 1991 to 1992, and that in 1993, Iraq sent additional CW to Sudan, this time through Iran. It also asserted that beginning in 1997, Iraq transferred equipment and materials for both chemical and biological weapons production facility that is built in the Sudan. The report was said to be based on the U.S., German, and Israeli intelligence sources. So here, Insider paper says a huge biological risk after the Sudan fighters occupy a lab. The World Health Organization fighters have occupied a national public laboratory in Sudan, holding samples of diseases, including polio, measles, creating an extremely dangerous situation. Warned on Tuesday, fighters kicked out all the technicians from the lab, which is completely under the control of one of the fighting parties as a military base, said Nima Saeed Abid, the World Health Organization representative in Sudan. He did not say which of the fighting parties had taken over the laboratory. Abid said that he had received a call from the head of the national lab in Khartoum on Monday, a day before the U.S. brokered the 72-hour ceasefire between Sudan's warring generals, and officials came in effect for 10 days of urban combat. 270,000 could flee. The UN Refugee Agency said thousands had already fled the violence, and that it was embracing for up to 270,000 people to flee Sudan into neighboring Chad and South Sudan. So that happened, and then we'll go further. The World Health Organization announced that there is a high risk of biohazard in the Sudan and North African region after the armed soldiers of an unknown faction. So this news is going out there right now as we speak. And so, here it is. So unfortunately, this is a horrible thing. The viruses have been released now. And Biolab in Sudan has been intentionally attacked and foolishly unleashed something which probably forfeited those that even took it over, and they were not obviously thinking very clearly or under some kind of mind control of some sort. They have no idea the repercussions of something like this over long term. Another article that came out, this is from Super Sleuth and Andronetalks News, fortunately sent me over some of this information right after the show, and here it is. The virus fears are sparking in China for 275 new virus subvariants emerged within a week. Residents are posting their virus test results online, pointing to a trend of reinfections. And so this, this has been going on for a while. We know that they've been trying to do different things, but this is something that Peter's been warning us about, but here it is. Thanks again.
You have been listening to the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Marrocco. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Visit www.acio-agency.org and www.readingsbyarael.com. Post your questions and comments below. We look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to support our work. All the links can be found in the description. Thank you.